All right. Thank you, everybody, for taking time out of your busy schedules to join me today for our next webinar in the ongoing series that we've been running. Today is going to be all about the admin side of the DeltaNet. So I'm going to jump in by starting for those of you that are joining us that aren't as familiar with Delta Media Group. We are an all-in-one technology platform. Most of you on the call today are going to be existing customers. So we're going to skip through some of the normal introduction that I would do on these webinars, and we've got non-Delta Media Group customers on. Today, we're going to be talking all about the admin side of DeltaNet 7. This is a huge update for us that we've been hard at work at for quite some time, and it is the first true overhaul of the administrative side of the DeltaNet in well over a decade. And so today, as we go through the admin updates, what I'm going to be doing is walking through common workflows that most administrators are going to do day to day. We're going to talk through the quality of life improvements that have been made to dozens of different elements of the platform. We'll be going over where to access additional information after this webinar and giving you guys a little bit of an update as it relates to the timeline of DeltaNet 6 admin side. And there should be time for Q&A at the end. So what I'd like to begin with is really just focusing on the speed at which we've been accelerating with product updates. We've been around for a long time here at Delta Media Group, and DeltaNet 1.0 launched in 2000. The last time we had significant updates to the admin side of the platform was in 2013 with the launch of DeltaNet 4. And so today, as we go through the admin side of the platform, I want to make sure it's clear how we're going to be rolling this out, how you're going to get your hands on these tools, and some other updates that you guys may have already started to see through our YouTube channel with videos I've been uploading. First, I also want to make it clear that the updates and what I'm going to be talking about in today's DeltaNet 7 admin webinar, any company that is using our default out-of-the-box version of the DeltaNet, you're going to be able to do all of the things that I walk through today live in your system today. The system is officially rolled out. It is available for company admins, and it's got some subtle updates you may not have even noticed. So, for those of you that aren't sure if you're getting automatic updates from Delta, as we do things like push out updates to our default build, I recommend you go to the navigation and access tab of your DeltaNet build. And there's a little prompt here that's above the pages tab that will tell you if you're receiving automatic updates or not from us. Any brokerage that is taking the time to customize your DeltaNet build, adding your own navigation, building your own widgets, interacting with the Nav and Access tab, it's likely that you are not receiving automatic updates because we don't want to push new pages or functionality like widgets, placing them in your build when you haven't already had a chance to review them or place them. So to get access to a lot of the things that I'm going to talk about today, you may need to go to your navigation and access tab after this webinar and add your own pages and widgets to where you want them to live in your version of the DeltaNet. Again, those of you that are using our out of the box build, all of these updates are going to be exactly where I show you in today's webinar. Those of you with custom builds are going to want to go to Nav and Access to place the widgets that I talk about in today's meeting. So let's give a little bit of a breakdown on what we're doing with DeltaNet 7. Our team was very diligent in rethinking the steps that were required to accomplish certain tasks in the admin side and really try to get rid of the idea of quote unquote sides altogether. So for the last 15 plus years, you would swap between the personal side of the DeltaNet if you were an active agent and go into the admin side of the system if you wanted to do things on behalf of the company. Our goal with DeltaNet 7 is to rework what was more than 100 different pages that were on the admin side of the system and consolidate those into their own standalone widgets and really eliminate as many widgets as possible without losing any functionality. So we have virtually zero loss in functionality moving from DeltaNet 6 admin to 7, but there's been a complete rework about where things live within the system because we've really reworked the UX, the user experience of administering the platform. And so, as we talk about consolidating widgets, if you think the old admin side of the system had over 100 pages and we've only got about a dozen admin specific widgets, where did all that other functionality go? And that really was where we introduced the concept of dynamic widgets into the platform. So a dynamic widget is basically a widget that contains additional information or features depending on the user role viewing that widget. So historically, I'll use email blast as an example. You may have to send an email blast as a company admin. You would go to the admin side of the system and find the admin version of the email blast tool. But if you were an agent, you would go into DeltaNet 7 and you would send a message blast from the agent side. What we are looking to accomplish with DeltaNet 7 is keeping everything in as close to the same spot as possible for admins and agents. And so, for example, now your email blast tool as an admin is going to just be wherever your company has placed the email blast tool for your agents. So, because I'm a company administrator looking at the email blast tool, there's an extra field here. It says, who do you want to send this email blast on behalf of? And I could send it from the company. But if I was in my agent role looking at that exact same widget, that section of the widget is just hidden. That's because the widget itself is dynamic and is going to adjust what functionality is displayed depending on which role I'm at. So we don't have two different widgets for admin email blast and agent email blast. It just lives in the same widget, and we're just going to dynamically add those extra fields that you need to see as a company administrator right on the widget itself. And we're going to be walking through a bunch of dynamic widgets on today's call, and we'll be highlighting what little disclaimers will help you visualize if you're looking at a dynamic widget or not. As we go through those, I also want to cover the admin exclusive widgets. These are out of the box new widgets that are only going to be visible to company administrators. So there are a handful of new widgets that are standalone that have been added into the DeltaNet 7 admin side. And this slide is showing you the names of all of those widgets. So if you do have a custom build, you can go into your navigation and access tool and you can add these widgets to your admin tab. That way you have all of the functionality in front of you. Out of the box, you're going to see company settings. Most of you are already familiar with that. That's where you can retheme your DeltaNet. We've added a ton into the company settings widget. This is where you're going to find things like lead settings, user settings, the way that lead routing works. There's so much that we're going to go as we walk through the company settings. This is where most of your set it and forget it stuff is going to be. So if you haven't gotten into like your lead distribution settings in a long time, you probably don't need to worry about getting into them now, but we've tucked them away into company settings as well as a lot of other things that we'll walk through. Company offices is a dedicated admin tab to manage all the offices within your brokerage. Company forms and surveys is where you can go to create unique routing forms for things like you want to add a contact form on a specific page of your website and you want that form to collect specific information and then have a unique lead form tied to it. The DeltaNet allows you to build your own forms and surveys using this tool. We have, of course, team management where you can manage your teams. For our larger firms that are in multiple states and have regions, we have a dedicated regions widget to group your offices so you can have distinct rules and communication for those. Navigation and access is the backbone of DeltaNet 7. Most of you are already familiar with that tool. We've added a support ticket widget, which is a hub for your admins to track all the communications you've had with our support team. And then we have a handful of extra widgets that are not visible even in the default build. These are extra things that you're going to want to use. You'll have to place yourself if you'd like to use them. There's a homepage slideshow widget to determine which images are on the company homepage. We have a platform status widget, which is something you can place, for example, in your help center if you want to quickly go and see if Delta's having any type of server issues. We have a dedicated kiosks widget. This is a paid add-on that's in the DeltaNet 7 marketplace where you can, for $9 per kiosk, generate standalone websites that'll highlight things like company listings. And then we have our builders and communities widget, which you can request to have enabled. And builders and communities is really a tool that brokerages who work with a lot of new construction would take advantage of to highlight builders, communities, and model homes that are being built in those communities. So there are a handful of those that are not visible, but they're all available in DeltaNet 7 today in the navigation and access tool tab. These are the common tasks that we're about to walk through in this live webinar today. So I try to think through what are the most common things that company administrators are doing on a day-to-day basis, and this is the list that I came up with. So we're going to be walking through adding, deleting users and teams, delegating leads and general lead administration, modifying your company website content, the ability to send email or marketing on behalf of your agents, the ability to add and edit widgets within the platform, reviewing all the new reports that are available within the consolidated report widget for admins, how you can build your own DeltaNet Academy courses and assign those courses to agents, publishing company news to the events tab, scheduling your own events and event management, and bulk sending messages and communications to your agents. And I'd ask for those of you that are on this call if there are additional workflows of things that you're doing in the DeltaNet on a daily basis, please reach out to me. Send me an email at sales@deltagroup.com, or if you've got my email, feel free to send one directly to me. But I'm going to be creating videos of any of the workflows that you guys are commonly working through and making sure those are available within DeltaNet Academy and our YouTube channel. Each one of these workflows that is on this slide, I've already created a video for that is available within our YouTube channel. So after this webinar, if there are specific tasks that you want to come back and refer to, you'll already be able to find video content on all of these workflows on our YouTube page. With that being said, we're going to jump into the actual DeltaNet itself. So here is DeltaNet 7, and this is going to look very familiar because it's going to be a super similar experience for the admin side of the system and the agent side of the system. So I have multiple user roles, as many of you do. You may be an admin and an agent. So you are toggling between roles. There's no more toggling between sides of the system. So as an agent, you've got your standard dashboard, which is going to show you any of the stats and activity that is related just to you as an agent. And we've got these 6 buttons, which are our quick access buttons that'll launch you into common things that an agent's going to be doing on a daily basis. We wanted to do the same thing with the updated admin home dashboard. So if you are an admin, and you toggle into your admin role, this is going to show you any unprocessed leads for the entire company and active customers across the entire company. And those 6 quick action buttons have been revised to the things that are more common for admins. So you'll be able to get immediately into your company roster, managing your teams, into reports, the company settings, managing your company news, and your email blasts. And also, we've got, of course, the calendar right on your homepage, which is where you can manage your events as well. So you've got the ability to add events from your homepage. So most of the day-to-day tasks are going to be available quickly to you right on your admin dashboard. And from that perspective, we're going to walk through some of these workflows that are pretty common. So if you want to add and remove users from the DeltaNet, you're now going to do that directly from the company roster widget. So as I click into that widget, you're going to see a list of all of the agents at the company. And from here, you're going to be able to click the blue plus button and add new users into the DeltaNet directly from the company roster widget. You're going to fill in all of the information about that user. And we've added a new quality of life feature, which historically, when you add a user into the DeltaNet, you'd then have to go authenticate as that agent to fill in even more information about them. We've now given you the ability to just save and view that new agent you've just added. So you don't have to completely authenticate as that user. You can literally just add them into the system and then save and view, and you're going to be looking at their profile. And I can view any agent in the company and I can edit information about them directly from this view as well. So if I want to edit a user, I can see all the details about this particular user. And because I'm an admin, you've got an extra tab that is visible when you are viewing the privileges of an agent. I can set what user role they're assigned to. I can extend widget permissions to that agent. So maybe they're an agent that we want to give some extra features to that we wouldn't give to any of the other agents. You can see all of the widgets in the system and give them access to view that widget. And then we also have our redirects here. So if this is an agent that's going to redirect to another third-party website, you're able to set that here on the privileges tab. I click the back arrow. I'm still in the admin side of the system. There's no need to authenticate to make editor changes to agents within your company. Also, from the company roster widget is where you're going to be able to send a bulk message. So if you wanted to send a communication out to your agents and you've commonly used that feature to send a message, which used to live under the users tab within DeltaNet 6, you're now going to be able to do that directly from the company roster, where if you click on these 3 dots, you'll see the ability to send a message where I can send and schedule a bulk email, or I can send a text message. For example, if there's a blizzard coming through and we're going to have some offices closed, I could type in that message, select which user roles I want to receive this communication, select which offices I want to receive this communication, And if I click the send button, it'll send back a bulk text message to all of the users in the offices that I had selected to receive that text. And you can also send that email. If you'd like to post a system notice, you're also able to do that, typing in a notice that's going to be a pop-up prompt the next time your users log into the DeltaNet. And you can make it visible only to your company admins or make it visible to everybody in the company where they'll get that pop-up prompt with whatever communication you want to type in and have them see. You'll also be able to, of course, export all the information from this widget, and you can see a history of any notices that you have sent through this tool as well. If you have additional information you want to see about your agents from the company roster widget, you've got the ability of adding extra columns of data that could show you things like their office affiliation, their contact information, and there's all sorts of filters that are here as well. If you only want to see your active users or you want to see inactive agents, you're going to do it from this widget as well. If you want to remove an agent who is no longer active with your company, you're able to come into the system and you're going to simply click the three dots to disable that user. And then you can determine what happens with their leads when you disable them. So all of your agent management and your outbound agent communications are going to be done through this company roster widget. We're going to use this example here in another DeltaNet build of lead distribution. So in this example, I could see activities for the day, customers that were active, unprocessed leads, and this is showing me for the entire company. If you are a lead administrator and you want to keep track of the leads coming through the system, you're going to just click on that unprocessed leads tab, and you'll notice that because this is a dynamic widget, you're going to have a banner that appears on that widget that's highlighting for you, hey, you are looking at the company leads. So if you're an active agent who's also receiving leads, we wanted to make sure it's clear that when you're looking at this widget, you are looking at the admin version and not the agent version. So you'll see these banners on a variety of widgets to let you visually know that this is something that's affecting the whole company, not just your personal DeltaNet build. In this example, I could see a lead that's come through. So I'm going to click on that lead. You're going to see the details and information about the lead itself. I could see the number of requests that this user has made, all of the information here, any lead agents that would match the criteria of the lead that came through. I'm able to redistribute the lead here. You've got your lead rebroadcasting capabilities. And then if you are a company administrator, you'll have the ability to process this as an admin. Additionally, if I want to view the details of the lead that was sent through, I can click on that request. And from here, I'm able to do that lead distribution. So we're going to reassign the lead. And in this example, we're just going to go ahead and give this to another agent at the company. So I could reassign that lead and it would assign it out directly from this modal. If you don't want to click into the lead itself, you can also manage these directly from the lead widget by clicking the three dots. This will give you the ability to process it right from this page. You can reassign this lead directly from this section. You could rebroadcast it. And of course, we've kept all of the same functionality that we used to have on the DeltaNet 6 version of the widget. It's capable here, just with a streamlined approach. You've still got your lead filtering, and you still have the ability to send messages directly to the user or create tasks on these leads as well. I click the back arrow and I'm right back on the company homepage. Something else that we wanted to be able to streamline is editing the company website using the Pages system. So in this example, we're going to go under our website tab and go to Pages. And again, you'll notice that banner. It's clearly indicating you are not editing your personal website, you are editing the company website. If you want to edit your own site, toggle over into the agent side of the system or the agent role. And now we have the ability to edit your company website navigation directly from the Nav and Access tool. So on the right-hand side, it's showing me all of the pages that exist on my company website. And I can take any one of those pages and drag and drop it over into the left-hand side of the system. And that's going to give you the ability to add and modify your content. So if you want to add an About Us page, I can simply add it to my company navigation. If I want to remove it, I just drag it out of that section of the site. You'll be able to get a drop down of all of the pages that exist on all of the websites that you manage through this tool. If I want to edit a page of content on the website, I could click the pencil and it's going to open up the page editor for me. So now I have the ability of editing the content about this page. I could see the Facebook share image. I could set its title, determine if it's a squeeze page. We do support custom style tags. You could do custom CSS on any of the pages of your site, determine if there's contact forms. If you want to make this page available on your agent websites, You can build a page and then share it with your agents or only with specific users. Of course, you could preview what this web page is going to look like. And we, of course, keep a history of every version of this page. So if I had made edits and saved this page, and then I determined that maybe it doesn't look as good as I wanted it to, I can roll back to an older version of that page. So you have the ability of editing your web pages and creating custom web pages the exact same way that you would on your agent websites is now supported on the company side of the system and has the streamlined editors in place with the ability to manage your navigation. If you want to do something like send an email on behalf of your agents, you don't need to authenticate as that agent to send a bulk email. Now you're going to simply be able to go to the Message Blast tab. And as I indicated in the slide deck earlier, if you are creating a new email, you're going to see you have the ability to send this on behalf of the company. I could send a bulk email on behalf of the assigned agent that owns that contact record. So I might build an email, send a bulk email blast, and it's going to look as if it came from the agent that owns that record. And if it is a contact that doesn't have an assigned agent, it'll fall back to the company. So it'll look like that communication came from the brokerage and not just the agent. But in this example, I could select any agent that's in the system. I grab that agent, and then I'm able to see a list of all that agent's contacts, and I can send a bulk email blast as if I was this agent without actually needing to authenticate into that agent's CRM and see all their contacts. It's just going to give me the ability to select their group, select the subject line, create my email as I always would, and then you can schedule that to run at a later date in the future. So we wanted to make it easier for admins to send communications without the need to authenticate. And it's going to be done in the exact same place where your agents are using the email blast tool is where you'll go to send those bulk emails on behalf of the agents. If you are a brokerage with a custom DeltaNet and you want to be able to add extra widgets into your system, you're going to find that under the admin tab. And so here I have our navigation and access tool. And if you want to create a new page that you're going to be adding into your DeltaNet, you would create a new page. And from this page, we'll just do one that's a test. So we'll grab an icon. It's going to indicate that this is just a test. And then you're going to add the widget you want to have on that page. So maybe in this example, we're going to put the builders and community widget. So we're going to go ahead and save that. I've now created a page in the system that has the builders and community widget on it, and we called it our test page. So we're going to then just drag that into our navigation, or you could put it wherever you want within your DeltaNet build. So if you want that to be a page that's going to just be for your admins to access builders and community, you're going to be able to come into the system and just drag and drop that builders and community widget under your admin tab. And then if you want to make any changes to who has access to that widget, you're still going to be able to do that by going into the widget, going into builders and communities. This is a system level widget. We've defaulted it to admins only. And then you have the ability to edit the text and description. So that's how you add widgets into the system is you're going to generate a page, you'll put the widgets you want on that page, and you're going to drop that page to where you want it to be within your DeltaNet. Keep in mind, again, if you don't see that little green flag that says you're receiving our automated updates, you're not going to get our automated push. You're going to see this message that says you are on a fully custom version of the DeltaNet. Next, we're going to talk about the reporting system because we've made a ton of updates to how reports work within DeltaNet 7. So there used to be over 40 different pages of various reports that you would be able to see in the system, and those have all been consolidated down into just the reports widget. So this is where most of the DeltaNet 6 admin pages went away and are now available here in this reporting tab. So I'll just give a couple of common reports that I know our admins get into frequently. So if I click on leads, this is going to show me all the various reports that are available for me to review as it relates to leads. So if I want to look at, for example, the lead performance report, I simply click that report from the reports tab, and then it's going to generate the lead performance report directly within that same widget. So this is showing me all of the customers that have come through on the website. What is our average lead response time? If you're using our lead update request system, it's going to show you how many requests have been sent to your agents about actually managing those leads. And then from this tool, if I want to make modifications to the report, I have the ability of adjusting the agent settings. I can have this set up to automatically be emailed to my inbox on a weekly basis. I can adjust the filters of how the data on this report is being shown. So if I want to see the last 6 months worth of data, maybe I want to compare data over a different date range, maybe year over year. I want to see data for the whole company, or maybe just a specific office, or maybe just some of the agents or teams. And maybe I want to only see reporting data for a specific lead request source. I can add that, update the report with those filters, and then have that set up to be automatically emailed over to me. And that's just one example of the many, many, many reports that are in the DeltaNet. Maybe you want to build a custom report. So I'm going to click on the users report. This shows me a list of reports that relate to agents that are using the DeltaNet. I want to build a custom report and see specific information, maybe about which features the agents are using in the system. So if I click on the columns of data, this is going to show me all the different things that I can build on my custom report. So I want to know if they're using the My Customer for Life tool. So I'll check the box, show me all the agents that are using MCFL. And then maybe I want to add a filter to it. And I want to look at all the agents that have used MCFL year to date. So we'll go back to January 1st. And I want to see the whole company, or I can narrow it down into just specific offices or regions. So we can apply the filters for that. Then I want to see some additional information. Maybe I want to save that as a filter. And that way, whatever I've put on this custom report, I don't have to rebuild it every time. So you could set filters on your report, save those, and then come back and have just an easy drop down to rebuild whatever reports you want to look at. Could be agent adoption, could be email usage, could be logins. And then, of course, you can export all of that data out, and it's sortable within the system. So if I want to see people using Open House Connector, I can create that list, see that toggle. Maybe we've got a handful of users not taking advantage of it, so we know who to target to talk to start using the system a little more. Additionally, there are so many other reports that relate to your listings and also relate to your general traffic and your SEO. So I highly recommend you guys take a look at all of the reports that are in the system. There's super valuable data on each one of them, and you're going to be able to see all those various reports directly on the reports tab within the DeltaNet itself. Next, we're going to talk about building DeltaNet Academy courses. So out of the box, there's going to be over 50 different training courses about various widgets in the DeltaNet. We are in the process of also building an admin training course for any of your admins will be able to see all the training videos that we have on using these new widgets and the new workflows for the widgets. But if you're building your own training courses for your agents, you're going to be able to go into the DeltaNet Academy widget, and as an admin, you're going to see this blue plus button. This allows you to create a new course from scratch, tie it into a specific category, and you're going to walk through the steps of adding modules to that training course. If you've got accounts that are already receiving training courses that you've assigned out, if you click on the three dots, you're going to be able to run a progress report, which will generate a list of all of the agents that have been assigned training courses, if they have completed those courses, if they are past due. You can click on the details and see specifically which courses they completed on time and if they're past due on those courses. If you want to create another training course based off of one that already exists, you can click on that course, and you're going to see some extra options because you're an admin. You can see everybody that course is assigned to, and if you click on the three dots, you can edit the course that's been built, you can duplicate it, or you can delete the course. So in this example, if I wanted to make an edit to a training course, I simply click that edit button. You'll be able to upload a thumbnail, select what category this course should live in. You can have it set as a draft until you're ready to publish it to your agents. And then you're going to be able to build modules within that training course. You can add new modules or add an existing module from the ones that are already in our library. And then, of course, you can create quizzes. So you can add questions that the agent has to complete at the end of the module and be able to pass or fail that test. And you can set what the pass percentage is and if they're allowed to retake a test after they've taken it. And there's all sorts of automations that'll notify you when a course has been completed. If an agent's failed a course, you can have an extra layer of review on that. So we want to make sure that our clients know you guys can take advantage of building these courses. And then there are even rewards that you have, like being able to get an updated user role, or you can lock a widget behind course completion. So you could say when somebody does complete this course, they're going to unlock the ability to do different things in the system. And that's found underneath of the advanced settings tab in DeltaNet Academy. You could say this course is only available if you've completed a certain course first. So there's a prerequisite, what widgets are going to unlock by you completing that course, and who has access to see that this course exists to take those classes. So there's a whole element of being able to roll out new functionality and educating your agents. So even in the future, as Delta adds new widgets into the DeltaNet, we may want to lock them behind the agents completing a training course so they understand how to use those tools before they're unlocked in the system for them. Another common workflow that admins are doing is publishing company news. So you're going to be able to get access to your company news. Again, I can go straight to my homepage. And because I am in the admin role, you're going to be able to see those 6 options that are going to click over into your custom company news. So once I'm on the company news widget, it's going to look blank if you guys aren't using the feature. And the first thing you're going to want to do is give access to how many articles are going to be shown. If you are set up as a publisher, you're going to be able to create new content on the company news and publish that into this system. So at company admins, you'll find that company news just by clicking on that button right on your homepage. Next, we have an entire event system within the DeltaNet. And events are driven based off of this calendar. We used to have this under the DeltaNet 6 interface. It would be under our news tab, and then you would click on events. Now it's just all managed right from your company calendar. So in this example, I'm going to click the blue plus button. And because I'm an admin, I have the ability to add an event. And I could set a title to that event. Maybe it's going to be a training session, and I can select which type of event it is, which will change the color that appears on the calendar for that different event that I'm scheduling. So we can say, hey, this one is a training. We also have things like appointment. You can create your own types of events. Then I can select the date and time that this is happening. I can select this as a repeating, reoccurring meeting. So maybe we know we're going to be doing a live training for the next 4 weeks. So we're going to set this up to run every Thursday, that there's going to be an event that the agents can register for. You can select the privacy of the event. Is it public to everyone in the company, or is it private and only visible to certain users? So you might have an office meeting that you only want to make visible to agents that work within a specific office. So you can grab that office, and only the agents in that office will see that this event exists and to register for it. Next, I could set my location. In this example, we're just going to plug in Delta's address. So this is being driven based off of Google, so it'll plug in an office location. And then here I could fill out the details of the event itself. So here, this training is going to cover DeltaNet admin. And then we've got some advanced settings available too. And this is going to determine some things like if there's a limit to the number of people that can register. Do you want the attendees to fill in their name? Do you want reminders? So we could set up, yes, we do want a reminder to run, and I'd like that to run, 1 day and 10 hours before the event. And we want to send the reminder via email and SMS. So the agent's going to get 2 reminders about this event, and we can fill in what that's going to be. Reminder about the training, and then I could set up, should there be a follow-up communication after the event has ended? So we could say, hey, we want to have run 2 hours after the event via email, a link that's going to be to a survey that we've created. Give us feedback on the training. So then you've got your notifications that can run before and after. You can have event creators getting notifications when new people register. So you can get an automated email letting you know people are registering for your event. You could select other people to receive notifications about the event. You can create a registration list that will show the agents who else has already registered for this event. And you can also, of course, set up reminders that will run to all users in the company that haven't even registered for it yet. So you might have an email that runs the morning of that says, hey, last minute chance to register for the training, and have that communication again go via email, text, or push notification for those that have the app installed. So there is a ton of different functionality that's available in the event system. And if you are an agent that sees events appear on the calendar, I can click on that event. This is going to show me the details. This is an event that's open to the whole company. I can see who all is already registered for the event. I can register myself and say, I'm going to come to this event and I'm going to bring somebody with me. So we're going to add a registration to that event. And you can see that for all of the events that are in the system, you'll be able to see that event and you'll be able to filter them as well. So I could say as an admin, I want to see events that are open to the whole company, or I can filter down and say, show me all the events happening in such and such office today. Of course, you're going to be able to draw attendance histories. So you'll be able to see a list of all of the events you've run and who attended those events. You'll be able to filter your event types. So here you can see we've got some the appointment, the standard event, training event. You can add your own different event types into the system, dictate what color and icon are going to appear on the calendar for those event types. Maybe you want to have things like company holiday parties or things of that nature and have that as an event type. And then because I'm an admin, I have company settings on this calendar, and this is going to dictate the default color coordination for the entire company. And I can check the box on should I show company events on the calendar to my agents? And do you want to allow users to personalize if they can hide company events or not? So you can turn on or off the ability for your agents to not see your own events. And then the agents themselves have the ability of managing their calendar and determining if you've given them the ability, they can choose to hide those company events. The next thing that we have is the ability to, oh, I already covered that, was going to be to send a bulk message. So that's kind of a quick work through of some of the common workflows that admins have within the system. I just want to make sure it's clear that you are going to want to be able to toggle between your roles and keep an eye on those widgets that if they are dynamic widgets that are going to really impact the whole company, you'll see those banners. And you'll notice here as I toggle between my agent and admin role, I can see the number of unprocessed leads adjust based off of my role. So the stats widget is dynamically tracking the leads that have not yet been assigned out to various agents in the company. And of course, you can break down the time frame for those as well. Let's talk a little bit about this button here, which is going to be the switch to admin interface button. So this is where you guys have been living basically the last 3 years, as we've had DeltaNet 6 admin available while we were also running DeltaNet 7. And so right now, there is no specific date that is planned to sunset the back to 6 option. So for the next period of time, you're going to be able to toggle between the sides of the DeltaNet, just like we do with our agent rollouts. We know that there's going to be times where you just need to get something done quickly, and you've been doing it the same way for a very, very long time. So we're giving you the ability to have all of the admin functionality within DeltaNet 7 live today, and also still fall back to DeltaNet 6 admin interface for a period of time. This will be sunset at some point this year. We'll be eliminating the back to 6 option, but there is no set time frame on the that exact rollback, and we'll make sure that we communicate that well in advance before we eliminate the back to 6 button. So please continue to work in the DeltaNet 6 environment when you need to, but what we would really like is for our admins to get hands-on in the DeltaNet. Like I said, all of these widgets and tools are available in the system right now. These are live in the DeltaNet. And start going through the process of delegating your leads, of adding users, of sending communications, and let us know if you have any UI or UX feedback that we can take into account. And if there's other common workflows or steps or things that you're doing on a regular basis, we want to make sure that we can take care of those for you too. And so just please send us that feedback if you've got things that you want to make sure are covered. I think the last thing that I had in my agenda was to cover Teams. Here is the new team option. So I would just click on that Teams widget right from the DeltaNet, and you're going to be able to pull up Teams. Just like you can for agents, if you start searching for specific things in the quick actions bar in the top left corner of the screen, you're going to be able to see a variety of different things that will pop up. If you're looking to get into your conference rooms or you're looking to get into office management, you can still reference the quick search bar in the top left corner, and that's going to be able to take you to the admin functionality in the system too. So the goal really was streamlining the system, putting things in the same place for admins and agents, and just having that dynamic widget capability when needed. I'll now open it up for Q&A for anybody that is joining us live. I will unmute. If you raise your hand, I'll unmute anybody who has questions, and then I can walk through, whatever specific workflow or question that you may have here real time. So I'll leave the room open. Thank you for everybody that took the time to join today. This was recorded. We'll be sharing this recording as well. But I wanted to make sure I left plenty of time at the end for questions here. So give me just a second, Candace. I see you've raised your hand. I will quickly unmute you. All right. Hello, Candace. You should be able to unmute.
Hey, I am on the Delta for Teams. I don't have the option to still be on the Delta 6. I only have the Delta 7, which I don't have a problem with that. It looks great, but I do need to search for members of a team. And when I do the search teams, I can only search the team name, not the team members. Um, I refer to the team list quite often as an admin. That's kind of how we keep it straight. So is there a
Mhm.
workaround for that?
You should be able to get to the Teams widget in the system. So in this example, I'm going to go to Teams, and we have a list of all of the teams that are available here. So that should be visible under the dedicated Teams widget that we've introduced. We'll show you.
Yep, I see that. But I like if I'm looking for one of our team members, like, is that person still on that team or are they not? Is there a way besides having to click into each individual team to see if they're a part of that team?
Let me look at this agent ro or the company roster here real quick. Just a moment. I believe that's a column that you can simply expose on the agent roster list and save it so that it is always visible. So if we don't have team as a category here, I'll send in a request on that. But I would imagine that would be a category, and it's not right now in the admin widget. So I'll see if we can't expose team affiliation because we've got primary office. We might be able to just add team in the list of roster here for you to be able to see that.
That,
But I'll take a
yeah,
note
that
of that.
would be really helpful for me.
All right, let me make a note here. Okay, I took a note on that. Thank you for that feedback. Much appreciated. Leslie, I see you've also raised your hand, so I'll go ahead and give you the ability to unmute.
Hey, Franklin.
Hello.
Hey, our admins typically at the end of the week will capture all of our internal open houses and they'll share that that collection of open houses to our team. Can you just show us how to do that?
Yeah, absolutely. So there is a standalone open house tab that you can refer to. This will show you all of the past open houses that have happened. So there will be a list of them here. This is also filterable. So I could filter and say, I want to see all the open houses for the last week or whatever date range you want. And then there is the ability to export those out in a CSV. So you can share those um, however you normally do. So it's going to be done on the open houses tab. So you can just type in open houses in the quick search, go to the open house widget. There's a little toggle to show you all of the past ones that have happened. And again, you've got your filters. You can break it down by office, and then you can get that CSV exported.
Okay, so it doesn't populate a template like before. It's gonna, you simply set up to share to every company wide and then that's it. That's all you need to do.
That should be. If you've got a specific example, if you want to email over the steps that your admins are taking today, I can put together a kind of a step-by-step of how you would accomplish that same thing in Seven. Just once I know exactly what they're doing with the step-by-step, I can put that together for them.
Okay, certainly will do that. Thanks.
Thank you. Are there any other questions that I could answer? I see Jessica has raised your hand.
Hi, Franklin. In the current admin side, I frequently use the top agent sites under reports.
Mm,
Where would that be
mhm.
located on this new side?
Absolutely. So in this example, I'm going to go to the reports tab. And you said you're looking for the top agent report?
Top agent sites. Looks like it's down there at the bottom. Okay, that's
Yep.
great.
Mhm.
And
And
then
then you'll
what
have
would be
your
perfect? What would be available under website stats on that previous screen?
So this basically works like a light version of Google Analytics. So if you have analytics, you're going to get way more data. If you don't, what this report essentially does is it's going to show you all of the traffic that has come to your company website over a period of time. I'm using a demo site, so I'm not sure if it's going to populate the website stats I want to see. But basically, it just gives you a list of all the traffic to your site, your bounce rate, how long users are on site, where is that traffic coming from. So I don't want to share any of our other clients' actual live stats, but if you click on website stats for your company and give it a second, it'll compile all the data, and it usually will default to the last 4 weeks of traffic that has come to your website.
Okay, perfect. Mine is also spinning, but that might just be the amount of data it's trying to pull. So I'll
Mhm.
submit a ticket if it doesn't eventually come through.
Yep.
So thank you.
Hey, no problem. And does anybody else have any questions they'd like to ask on this with while you have the opportunity? Okay, Chrissy, I see you've raised your hand.
Can you hear me, Franklin?
I sure can. How are you?
Oh, good. Uh, so we've been kind of working with you guys the last few weeks as we used to send an e-card on behalf of the agents, and we've run into some issues with that. Can you show me how we would send an e-card to on behalf of our agent? I just don't know if we're doing it wrong.
I know right now that the send as agents functionality is visible on the email blasts. I believe it is also visible on the campaigns. I think for e-cards, if you're using Delta Create Studio for that, you are still going to want to authenticate as the agent to build and send that as them. Or the other thing you can do as a company administrator, and I'll see if I can walk through this. We'll go into Create Studio. We're going to grab an e-card. We're going to click on that e-card itself. You have the ability to add or remove agents. So if there is a specific agent you're trying to build this for, you can search their name and then it'll pull through all of their contact information within that e-card. And then if there's a specific listing, you can add or remove any listing. If you're searching for an address, you should be able to pull through any company listing. And then it should populate with the information on that e-card. And then when you go to send, it'll have you save it. And then this is the send as other agents button that you'll see as an admin. So I built it, I pulled in the information of the agent with the listing that I wanted. And then as you send as other agents, this is going to allow you to either send it on behalf of an office. So all of the agents within that office, this email blast is going to run as if it was the contact, the agent that owns that contact record, or I could
Mhm.
choose an individual agent. So in this example, I pulled Charles' information. So we're going to say, hey, we're going to send this email as if it was Charles. And here are all the user groups that he has that you can send contacts to. So I could say, I want to send this to all of his marketing customers. So I built it in Create Studio as an admin, pulled in their information, click that send as agents button, and then I could send it directly through here.
Okay, thank you.
Any other questions? Okay. Well, thank you guys so much for attending. Please give us that feedback. It's really important to us that we get those emails that'll give us an idea of what kind of workflows or steps you guys are doing on a day-to-day basis so I can make those extra training videos. This was recorded. I'm doing another live webinar on this topic next Thursday at 2 p.m. If you've got other admins at your company that are in the system often and you want them to have the same opportunity to ask live questions, I highly recommend you have them register for next week's webinar on this topic. I'll be doing another walkthrough of all these tools. So please encourage them to register. I want to thank everybody for taking the time to join. For those of you, I'll see you again next week if you need to join again. And if you have any questions, please reach out to us at either sales@deltagroup.com if you want to get a hold of me, or you can use support@deltagroup.com if you've got a general support question. Thank you.